Welcome back to Car Trouble. Now, have you ever wondered what 200,000 miles would do to a Porsche Cayenne? Well, if you haven't, pretend you have and stick around, because this Porsche Cayenne right here, which has been our family knockabout for the last few years, is just about to tick over to 200,000 miles. Now, this model's called the 958, which replaced the 957 in the Cayenne lineup. Coincidentally, this 958 replaced our old 957, which used to be our family runabout. I made a video on that one as well. If you haven't seen it, please do go and watch it. It's bloody brilliant, honestly. If you did see that video, you'll know I was a huge fan of the 957. It did everything it was supposed to do. It looked the part, it was dead reliable, and the 957 is absolutely brilliant off-road thanks to a really clever four-wheel drive system. The Cayenne is brilliant off-road. This generation of Cayenne even has a low ratio transfer box and a reinforced underbody. I mean, that's proper off-roady stuff. And it has a very clever four-wheel drive system. See? Even though it uses open diffs, which would normally send all the power to the slipping wheel, it uses a very clever traction management system which will redirect power and uses the brakes to control each wheel. It's so versatile, it can even send all the power to just one wheel if necessary. But, like most SUV owners, we never took it off-road. It went on holidays, it went to the supermarket, it went to the tip, it did the school run, but never off-road. So that awesome four-wheel drive system was pretty unnecessary for us, especially since it adds quite a lot of weight. That weight really affects the emissions, and that means that the road tax every year was a whopping £675. Porsche cottoned onto this, and for the replacement 958, they did away with most of that off-road technology because they realised the buyers just weren't using it. However, it does still have a very clever four-wheel drive system that will get you out of trouble in most situations. Just don't try driving up Everest in it. Now, the 958 looks smaller than the 957 that it replaced, but it's actually bigger. So it's even more impressive that they managed to lose 180 kilograms of weight out of it. This was mainly done by losing the low ratio transfer box and a lot of the underbody reinforcement that, believe it or not, the school mums weren't really using. They also got rid of the 6-speed gearbox and replaced it with a much more efficient 8-speed gearbox. More gears to make it, more mountain bikey. So what this means is that the 958 is not only quicker, it's also lighter, which means it's better on fuel. And what that means is that the emissions are lower. So the road tax drops to a much more manageable £360 a year, which is, it's a lot less. It's like half. Looks-wise, the Cayenne has come on a long way since its inception as a weird kind of novelty frog car, via a much-needed facelift when they changed all the lights, which was a massive improvement. But the biggest improvement came with the 958 model, which looks way better on the outside. I've got to say though, it's not normally this clean. It took me ages to clean it, partly because we're selling it, and partly because I wanted to film it, because, well, the mileage makes it really interesting. Being the family car, it was pretty minging. The missus used it to drive the kids around, and when I was cleaning it, honestly, there was sticky fingerprints on the windows and on the seats. There was footprints on the ceiling, and I even found an old pair of underpants. And don't even get me started on the mess the kids made in there. Oh, thank you. The more observant of you may have noticed the colour by now. We're all aware that car manufacturers spend a lot of time trying to come up with descriptive names for their paint colours. You know, it's not just red, it's cherry orgy red. And it's not just blue, it's Monte Carlo blue. Because, Monte Carlo's blue, isn't it? I'm thinking maybe Alfa Romeo probably thought that Monte Carlo is like a billionaire Smurf village. Anyway, let's get this out of the way first. It's brown, isn't it? It's brown. Now, you would have thought that Porsche, being the manufacturer of choice for flashy, show-offy twats, that they would have tried to gaslight you into thinking that it's not brown. It's actually coffee dysentery or mocha or some bollocks like that. But no, Porsche called it umber brown. Now, I had no idea what umber meant, so I Googled it, and it turns out umber is just another word for brown. So umber brown is just brown. I'm guessing that maybe the well-paid guys in the Porsche colour naming department had a bit of a hangover that day and just thought, oh, Hans, I had too many Lagersteins last night and I have to go home and sleep in my bed. But before we can go, we must name this colour of brown. What do you think, Hans? Ugh, let's just call it brown so we can get out of here and get some greasy schnitzel and I can sleep in my bed. I've got a good name for it. I would have just called it colonic irrigation. And that's probably why I don't get employed by Porsche to come up with names for them. That and my dodgy German accent, of course. Where was I? Oh yes, the 958 interior was a massive improvement over the 957 interior, which was getting quite dated. It was very influenced by the VW Touareg interior, but much nicer. And there were touches of early 2000 Porsche 911 switches and steering wheel. But the 958 borrows its design influence from the more modern Panamera. The layout and quality of the material and switchgear are outstanding. Even on this almost 200,000 mile car, the switches feel solid, there's no rattles, and the leather isn't showing its age too badly either. Oh, you f***ing thing. Unfortunately on this one, the brown theme continues on the inside, where you're greeted by 6 different shades of bottom sneeze. It's a two-tone colour interior, and the colours in here are apparently umber again, so brown, and tartufo, which is apparently a brown Italian ice cream, obviously. According to the original spec sheet, this interior cost almost £5,000, although I think Porsche might have pulled a fast one on the original buyer. Leather interior package in two-tone combination, £2,582. Smooth finish leather interior package in standard colours, £2,177. That makes no sense. Why pay for standard colour interior and two-tone colour interior? Obviously he was your typical standard Porsche buyer. When asked if he wanted either two-tone colour interior or standard colour interior, he probably went, both, because I've got loads of money. And Porsche were happy to take his money from him. Joking aside though, I know I'm rinsing the brown jokes, but I do actually quite like the colour of this car and the interior. In a sea of black and silver cars, it is quite nice to be different. And another bonus is, it doesn't really show dirt, so you don't have to wash it very often, because it's already dirt coloured. We're going for a drive in the brown car. Now, I know I said it before, but I actually really like the colour scheme of this car. But you've got to joke about it, haven't you? I mean, I can't just come out on a YouTube channel and go, it's brown. I like brown. I especially like brown cake. Now, in case you're wondering, this isn't going to be an in-depth review of the 958. It's been around for over a decade, so there's plenty of reviews out there on YouTube if you need one. No point banging the same old drum, as John Bonham used to say. What it is going to be is a pretty non-in-depth review of a Porsche SUV that's done nearly 200,000 miles. Because it's pretty remarkable for any car to do 200,000 miles, let alone a luxury SUV. I mean, they're not really known for their reliability, are they? So now the bit that you actually probably clicked on the video for in the first place. What's gone wrong with it? Well, I'll tell you. We bought this car a few years ago when it had done 171,000 miles. Now, I know what you're thinking. You've either got to be pretty brave or pretty stupid to buy a Porsche, or any SUV for that matter, with 171,000 miles on it. Now, I've already been impressed by Porsche's ability to do crazy miles, thanks to my 250,000 mile Boxster. I bought that a while back as a bit of a basket case so I could go through it and make lots of lovely YouTube content, but there was nothing wrong with it. It's been absolutely brilliant, and that trust seemed to pay off with this one. So far we've done about 28,000 fairly trouble-free miles in it. Apart from regular servicing and tyres and brakes and all that was really needed was 2 new diesel injectors, 2 front coil springs, and 2 rear dampers. Unfortunately, unlike most Cayennes that have air suspension, this one was spec'd from new with a rare combination of coilovers and adaptive dampers. It's a great combination when you're actually driving, but because it's so rare, there's very few second-hand parts around, which means you have to go to Porsche for new ones, which doesn't really make great economical sense on a 200,000 mile car, but it is what it is. To be fair, the springs weren't too bad. I think they're about £300 for the pair from Porsche main dealer, but the adaptive dampers hurt a lot. I think they're about £1,000 for the pair. Now, you're probably shouting at your screen right now going, it's a used old Porsche, dummy. You didn't think it was going to be cheap to run, did you? Well, yeah, you're right. But it doesn't stop me trying to run these cars economically, and to be fair, I've had more wins than losses. I do okay most of the time with them, but every now and again it bites. And like I said, if it wasn't for the rare suspension setup on this, and we could have sourced some used suspension parts, I think it would have worked out a lot less painfully. Whilst I'm on the subject of the original spec, I really should thank the original owner, who decided to spec this car with £16,000 worth of options, which by the time we bought it second hand made no difference to the value at all. So thanks for that. But now, it's the sad part of the story. It's time for someone else to get some use out of him. We're going to put him up for adoption. Well, for sale. I'm not made of money. It should be a bit of a bargain for somebody, because we've had all the work done and the miles really hit the value hard. So what's it worth? Probably 6,500, 7,000? Maybe I'm way off. Let me know in the comments. I might be miles off with it. The reason we're selling it is because the missus wants a newer model, and it won't come as a surprise that she wants a black one. I guess there's only so long you can spend staring at the inside of a blocked toilet. Enough with the bowel movements! And with the lack of mechanical nightmares that we've had with this car, you might be tempted now to rush out and buy yourself a high-mileage Cayenne. And you can do a lot worse. However, much as we don't like to give useful factual information on this channel, sometimes I'll make an exception. The best advice I can give you if you get one is service it as if it was a helicopter. Don't scrimp on anything. Otherwise, life's going to get a bit messy. Even 200,000-mile Porsches have a sense of humour and will leave you stranded on the side of the road if you neglect them. More accurately, imagine it's just a mechanical woman. Just give it everything it wants and life will be easier. Otherwise, those irritating noises are just going to get worse and more expensive. Before you get off the toilet, can I just ask that if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe using the button below. It is free and it really helps small channels like this keep going. For more car-based shizzle, click one of these boxes and I'll see you in the next one. Happy wiping!